The world's leading aerospace and defense company, Boeing, finds itself in the crosshairs of one of the most notorious cyber criminal gangs out there. What's up, everyone? I'm Brian from Exact Cybersecurity and IT, and we're going to get into what happened on Friday with Boeing in today's video. All right, guys, so here's what's going on. We have Boeing, one of the leading defense contractors out there, has been named on the LockBit dark web leak site. And this happened on Friday, the 27th of October, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. And they came out and they said that they have stolen data from Boeing and they expect to be paid a ransom as to not release that data. And that left Boeing and people at Boeing scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on. So LockBit is a notorious Russian-linked ransomware group, announced on their dark web leak site that they have Boeing. Now LockBit, they're in like their third iteration of their organization or their cyber crime group. They've been around since 2019, so they've been around for a while, but lately there's been some issues with this group that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But everyone at Boeing right now is scrambling. They're trying to assess the situation. They're trying to understand what's going on, because unlike a ransomware attack where you see systems that are affected, in these situations where they just exfiltrate data and then they say they have it, this is a whole different ball game for businesses. And this is one of the things that I said would happen this year more often than not, would be that companies would get hit by cyber criminal groups without ransomware being deployed, because it's very, very expensive for them to deploy ransomware from their standpoint, as opposed to just stealing data and then getting paid over the threat of the release of that data. So that's what we're seeing here in this case with Boeing and LockBit. So what do we know about the particulars? We don't know a whole lot right now, but as of today, we do know that LockBit has given roughly 6 days to Boeing to pay up, or data will start being released to the public. And they claim that they have some pretty significant data sets in their possession. Essentially, they have until November 2nd to initiate contact, I believe it is, with the group. And then failing to do so, the gang threatens to release a vast amount of sensitive data as a result. And we've seen this kind of tactic before. And what's happening between now and November 2nd is that this group is working with or trying to contact people at Boeing. And if they legitimately have data, they will start showing and releasing that data to Boeing to kind of let them know what they have here. It has also been reported that the cyber criminal group LockBit has come out and said that they've used a 0-day in this attack. So we'll find out if any of this is true, quite frankly, in the coming days, and we'll see how both sides handle it. But there's more to come. These two giants go up against each other, a cyber criminal giant and a defense industry giant, who this company is going to get the support of our federal government just because of the sensitive nature of the data that they deal with. If it is a legitimate attack, this could go a lot of different ways, and there's going to be a lot of firepower behind helping Boeing not only get through this, but figure out who's behind this and where they are in the world and how they're doing what they're doing. Boeing is a global leader in aviation and space technology, and it serves various sectors from jet airliners to military aircraft to satellites and space flights. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're going to have the FBI and DHS and a lot of other government agencies helping out Boeing through this situation if it is legitimate. The company has over 150,000 employees and they're worth an estimated $60 billion, which makes this breach and the potential for a breach around this company particularly alarming. So who's LockBit, right? Bursting onto the ransomware scene in 2019, as I mentioned, this group quickly rose to notoriety. They have over 1,400 attacks globally, and their signature ransomware variant, LockBit 3.0 or LockBit Black, is deemed to be the most evasive yet. But interestingly, similarities have been observed between LockBit 3.0 and other Russian-linked ransomware groups like Black Matter and Black Cat. It's interesting to understand how this all works behind the scenes, probably for a lot of people. There's definitely overlap between these groups and the people who work in them, which is why you see similarities. And sometimes they do operate under various names and different names. just so they're harder to catch. And the whole name of the game for these guys and how they survive is being elusive from law enforcement. The bigger web that they can spin, the harder it is for law enforcement to be able to track them down, especially in countries where there's nobody helping them on the law enforcement side within their own borders to try to curb this stuff. But the group's success, I mean, is evident in the term and the tens of millions of dollars they've amassed in ransomware payments. One of the things that we can look at is the group is facing, and this is why you see a lot of different names for this group, is because it's pretty well known that this group is having some management challenges. So it's interesting that this group has come out and said this in the manner that they have, leading people to believe, and a lot of security researchers early on here think that this might be just a lot of nothing and a big nothing burger, and just an attempt to try to scare Boeing into paying some kind of ransom demand, which I don't know if that's going to work out too well, because Boeing is going to want to know and see what they have before they start negotiating, and they're not going to release any funds until they really understand what this group has. So it'll be really interesting to me to see where this goes in the next couple of days. Obviously, by the deadline, this is one of those things where it's either something serious or this is the beginning of the end for LockBit. So which is it for you? I'd love to hear it in the comments. I mean, because if LockBit's struggling, this could be certainly 100% just a play to say, hey, we have something here. Or maybe they have something from a third party, or maybe they just have something that's a little bit of what Boeing deals with, but not anything too serious. It could be anything at this point. We don't know, but we will find out soon enough. One of two narratives is going to unfold. Either LockBit really does have something for Boeing, or they're just making this all up, or they have something very little, which we've seen before from this group, where they've breached maybe a computer or a third-party system, where it had some files from a bigger company, but at the end of the day, it really turned out to be a big nothing burger, and the companies didn't negotiate, and kind of everybody moved on with life, and nothing really happened so far that we're aware of with these previous incidents. So we'll keep you updated as we learn more here in the next week. We'll do a more in-depth, bigger video on this attack, but right now, LockBit claims that they have data from Boeing. Love to hear from you in the comments whether you think this is something or a big nothing burger on LockBit's part. We'll see you in the next video.